Hey, you guys, welcome to Splinterlands TV. It is I, the Psy, and we are back to talk a little bit about this Cryptomancer proposal and to kind of at least give my perspective on kind of like the company's direction, on the proposal itself, and the DAO, I guess. So just to kind of like sum things up here, it says that they want the DAO to hire Cryptomancer to continue building the Secret of Pretoria land expansion, and this will help the company out significantly, and we strongly urge the SPS stakeholder community to approve it. Cryptomancer's rate for software development is $90 an hour and will be capped at a maximum of 160 billable hours or 14K per calendar month. In some cases, due to time off or circumstances, the total will come to less than this. The proposal's for a year, and the DAO can cancel or modify before then, blah, blah, blah. All right, so, and then they go and they talk about how great Cryptomancer is, which I'm sure we all know how great Cryptomancer is. There's no disputing whatsoever that Cryptomancer is the man. He's the main mancer on the Splinterlands team. Nothing but respect for Cryptomancer. Here's an update that was just made October 7th, so this is yesterday. It says, while the Secret of Pretoria land expansion will be Cryptomancer's main priority, he may be also required to fulfill duties such as code review, assistance with monitoring, and basically other Splinterlands duties. As part of the proposal, Splinterlands will create 2 new promo cards after the current promo cards are completed, and they will sell them and distribute them in whatever way the DAO instructs within reason. So obviously that means they're not going to do it for free. The details of the promo cards will be distributed via an SPS governance proposal. And finally, here's a very interesting one. Since the DAO will now be directly paying for the development of a key piece of Splinterlands code base, as part of this proposal, the Splinterlands agrees to work with SPS stakeholder community in good faith to find agreeable way to ensure that the SPS DAO will have access and rights to the Splinterlands code base, all assets, and IP to ensure they're in a position to operate the game in the event the company is no longer able to. That's kind of a scary thing to say, to be honest with you. Like, when I read through the whole proposal, I'm like, hey, you know what? Before this update, I was just like, we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna get Cryptomancer, we're just gonna kind of get his very expensive salary off of the Splinterlands books, we're gonna put on the DAO books, right? But to say this, that basically they want to make sure that the DAO has access and rights to the codebase and IP in case the company is no longer able to run it. I mean, this makes me feel 2 ways. The first way is actually positive, because I'm like, okay, that's great. So if something ever happened to Matt or something like that, like God forbid, or any of the other creatives, or basically just like Splinterlands had to dissolve, we've still got a way to be able to access the code and keep Splinterlands running using kind of like the treasure chest of the DAO. But what's worrisome about this is the fact they even need to bring that up and basically need to say, hey, you know what, there's a good chance. Well, they're not saying there's a good chance, but obviously they're acknowledging the fact that there is a chance that something could happen. But hey, don't worry, if something does, the DAO has control of like IP and code. So positive and negative on that. It's just a little scary to hear it be brought to the forefront, like in relation to that, and have it like be right here on the proposal, right on Peak D. Like it's built into the proposal now that they're acknowledging that. So let's go ahead, let's get into the commentaries. First off, what I want to say before I even go and read through some of these comments, I'm not going to read through them all, is I want to say that to me, I mean, I would just like, my personal feeling is that that's a pretty high salary. But I mean, if he's worth it, he's worth it, I guess, right? But I mean, the way I think about it is the DAO isn't even, I might be wrong about this, but I think part of the reason that the DAO exists is to get it out of like the USA, right? So that it's not a US entity, for like regulations and things like that. Now, if that's the case, we're willing to go and put the DAO as a non-US entity, then I think that you should be able to hire outside of the US as well. And I mean, just for that kind of a cost, $90 an hour, $14,000 a month, almost like, it's like what, 180,000 or two, like close to 200,000 or something like that, which is fine. I mean, a software developer deserves it if you're working for like Ubisoft or, you know, one of the bigger companies. The only thing that I kind of question about this is just like, man, when there are companies that are like in dire financial straits, oftentimes it's the CEOs, well, the good CEOs, you know, that will just be like, you know what, I'm just cutting my rate. I'm just going to cut my rate. I'm going to take no bonuses. And by doing so, I'm able to keep more people on. Like, I just feel like if this is actually like what he's charging and stuff like that for just such a small, like relative to other gaming studios and stuff like that, if that's what we're going to call Splinterlands, that seems pretty high. Like, if I were Cryptomancer, like at the same time, Like, is he not willing to be like, you know what? Because he's done a lot of talking, and like I said, I love CryptoMancer about how Splinterlands is his life, it's his passion, it's what he wants to do and everything like that. Well, I mean, maybe you could reduce your salary a little bit as well, just to kind of make sure that Splinterlands can continue to survive. And if it's something like, oh no, I only make $100,000 a year USD, but that extra 80,000 allows 3 more or even 2 more software engineers to come online. Then I mean, I think that would probably be a good use of company funds as well, instead of just trying to pass it all on to the DAO. And again, not that I have any problem with CryptoMancer. And I mean, if this is what he's getting paid, this is what he's getting paid. I don't know what his expenses are. I don't know what he how things are down there, or anything really about CryptoMancer's side. That he's a nice guy and he's amazing. So I mean, I'm not really gonna put too much question into this, because I mean, there's been people who've already looked up software developers for like Hearthstone, and I think it was Aftersound, or maybe it was or maybe it was Infidel. One of those guys, I think, basically said, hey, software developers, they just make this much. And I mean, that's cool for the big gaming studios, but man, it just feels like that's a lot when we're talking about Splinterlands, or at least it could be one of those things. I'd think that he's like, hey, you know what? Maybe an even better thing is, hey, you know what? I'm not going to take a pay cut, but why doesn't the DAO pay me in some DEC and some SPS and stuff like that I won't sell? Like, I'll make an agreement, I'll cut my rate straight up, period, but the difference, how about you make it up to me out of the DAO or something like that, in SPS and DEC, because I'm a stakeholder in Splinterlands, and that way I'll sink or I'll swim with Splinterlands, and I'll even lock it up for the duration of this contract. So I won't even spend that DEC or that SPS that you're giving me to supplement my income for the duration of this of my contract. Just consider it like staked, basically. It's staked to my contract. Which I think would be cool. So I just think that I'm hoping there's some flexibility with CryptoMancer himself, and maybe his rate that we can do. But I mean, that's neither here nor there. What we're here to discuss is pretty much the DAO proposal, right? Some of the things that I've already read in the commentary talk about land was already paid for 4 years ago. That money should be what's being used, the company's money, Splinterland's money, to pay for CryptoMancer's rates. And what happened to that money? And there's a lot of outrage about that, and saying, hey, we're just getting milked for more and more. And now the company, since it mismanaged those funds, now it's actually going to instead put that costly mistake onto the DAO. Now, part of what I want to talk about here is, in my opinion, the DAO and Splinterlands are basically hand in hand, joint at the hip. They're a Siamese twin. There is no separating them. The only reason that they might exist is to do some things with the DAO that might not be that are regulated differently outside the USA. Is my understanding, basically, at least as far as like the way that the DAO works. To me, the DAO money is Splinterland's money. I don't even care. So even though I question the rate of CryptoMancer, the mere fact that Matt put up this proposal means I'm going to vote for it, right? Because to me, DAO money, you may as well spend it on Splinterlands. If Splinterlands goes under, sure, DAO can inherit all this code base and it can inherit the IP and stuff like that. Maybe it'll do a better job, but maybe it won't. I'd rather see the DAO go down with Splinterlands than Splinterlands go down because it didn't get all the help from the DAO that it could have gotten, and now the DAO is a separate entity on its own. I would rather see them both go down together than, hey, we're propping up the DAO and the DAO is not giving out the funds to the company, and now the company went under, and yay, DAO, we have all the IP and we've got all the code, and yeah, now what are we going to do? I guess we're going to pay out of DAO funds to have CryptoMancer, stay and develop this for the DAO instead of developing it for Splinterlands. And maybe that would then involve putting Matt on the payroll of the DAO, instead of having Splinterlands exist. And you know what? It just gets so messy. So to me, I mean, it's like the DAO and Splinterlands, that's basically like, Splinterlands has 2 wallets. Its first wallet is in the left pocket and the other wallet is in the right pocket. And all that matters is which pocket is it dipping into for the money. But I would give it out of either one. And I think that the two of them are so linked together that they're separated by name alone, pretty much, all right. So that's my little DAO speech as well. And I'm not a bit like the DAO to me, I'm a player. So this kind of content that I'm doing right now matters less to me than play updates and things like that. Even though I haven't been able to play a lot lately, as you guys know, I've been busy with real life. But still, I kind of wanted to talk about it because, I mean, that seems to be the thing to do in Discord and all around the place. So, again, I'm going to support it just because, I mean, Matt wants it to be supported, and I trust in Matt. I'm one of those people, I guess, even though I do agree there's been some mismanagement, so I do support it. I would love for CRYPTOMANCER to do something on his own about his salary if it truly is so dire that they need to put up this proposal, period. I mean, I would love for him to say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna voluntarily take less, just like those other CEOs do, just like I think Matt said that he's doing, is that he's being underpaid just to kind of keep things going. So I'd love to see CRYPTOMANCER just kind of step up and be like, I love Splinterlands. I don't want to see it go under. This is a major issue. I'll just take a pay cut. I just love to see that happen of his own accord instead of doing this. Secondarily, so I also want to talk about what it would be used for, and that is lands. And I am not a land fan. Okay, and I know that he's saying that he'll be continue building out the Secret of Pretoria land expansion effective October 1st, 2024. I am just not a land fan, and I feel like there's way better things that we could be doing than putting any more time and money into land. It sort of functions. It lets you go ahead. It lets you get SPS, or it lets you get research points, or it lets you get grain, and you could potentially get parts of shrines or whatever they're called, totems. You could potentially get totem pieces and things. That's cool. That's at least functioning right now. But what should be the priority right now? Should the priority be to get lands up and running? Yay! So those few people who have like fields of land, like I don't know how else to phrase it, huge regions, settlements, continents of land, which I think are in the player minority but have a majority of assets. So I mean, I don't want to say, hey, you know what, screw you guys, you have all these assets and stuff and we're totally not looking after you at all. I mean, I'm not saying that, all right? I definitely don't want that to be construed in that manner. But when I think about, I'm going to call it the greater good. Like, is it to go and put all this time, all this energy, all of CRYPTOMANCER's labor into land? Or should we be working on that darn new player experience that we're always talking about? You know, I would say that the number one thing we should be doing right now, personally, forget land, even though I've got my 5 plots, you know, and there are people who, like I said, there are people who have hundreds and thousands of plots, and that's great. I'm not talking crap on them, but I'm just saying, I mean, I've got my 5 plots too, and I would love to see something be happening with them. But at the same time, we've got the new player experience that needs to get done before we can even push any of that marketing stuff that we're doing, right? There's no way I'd even want to go and do any kind of marketing before the new player experience is done, because like Matt said, why would we spend this time on marketing and then change everything after we've got players in? No. We want to have everything done. We want to have all the new code that I think they still need to do. It's either battles or guilds or something like that. They're still working on the last little bit of code before it'll be all Splinterlands nexted out. It will be ready to go ahead and start implementing some of the changes to like mobile and things, and so that it's all compatible and it all runs seamlessly and smooth. That's why we need to do this code update. But I mean, that should be the priority, is getting the code updated, getting the new player experience ready to go. Because the best way to solve this problem that we're having right now with company income would probably be to get, you know, a couple thousand new players playing the game and buying packs before they're all like burned, basically. And, you know, putting money into the ecosystem, new money coming in, not just, you know, us people who've been here for a while selling something to buy something else. And I mean, I've been putting in credits because I love the sales, the deals that are on right now, but those are almost gone. Bear in mind. But I mean, that's the best way to generate more income for the company, would be to get the new player experience done and start getting new players into the game, you know, and get that new capital, that new income coming in. I mean, it just seems mind blowing that that's not the priority we would be putting Cryptomancer on right now. Like, we're putting it on the lands which benefit those who are already here instead of focusing on getting more people in, which in turn would generate more revenue for the company. So it just seems so like strange to me that they want to pull their lead developer, like this is their lead developer, Cryptomancer, off of NPE and coding for the next and whatever it is, and put them onto land. Like, get NPE out, release that, start using those marketing bucks, and then do whatever you want with Cryptomancer, because then at least like he'll be ready to do other things. I know that, I forget what the term is, but there's like a backlog of work that needs to be done, and it's all prioritized and everything like that. And I just think that land should not be near the top of that pile. It should be NPE, 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 then marketing, and then start doing all this other crazy, anything else you want, basically, once you've established the NPE. But until we get that done, I don't think that we should be diverting Cryptomancer to land. In fact, I don't think we should be diverting anyone to anything that isn't NPE focused or focused on the new promo cards and stuff like that. The immediate things that need to get done, and land is not an immediate thing that needs to get done. So I was going to go ahead, I was going to read some comments, but I think that I pretty much summed up my position pretty well here. I encourage you guys to go, I'll go ahead and I'll post a link in the videos so you guys can follow it and read it on your own and read through all the comments. But I think I pretty much like done my commentary on this. This is the way that I feel. And there's some people who say, yeah, just go and get land done. It's going to be a big draw in the comments. And there's other people who say also, why are we even focusing on land? There's actually a lot of land owners in the comments who are saying, I'm a landowner, big time, got tracts or regions, or I don't want to specify, put words in the mouth because I don't have the exact stuff here, but I've got all these lands, and even I don't want to see land being developed right now. I think that's low priority. So even the landowners themselves are saying we don't want to get land done. So I mean, from just to sum things up here now and close things out, from the perspective of, do I care whether or not it's the DAO that's employing Cryptomancer versus it being Splinterlands that's employing Cryptomancer? I don't care where the money comes from. They're both, one's left hand, one's right hand as far as I'm concerned, okay? So don't get me wrong. I'll go ahead and I'll say, yeah, hire him up by the DAO and take those funds and keep them within Splinterlands, the company, and have DAO paying Cryptomancer. It's irrelevant to me where the money comes from. But what they have him doing is what I'm against. So actually, you know what? I'm actually going to, I don't know if I want to I think I'm actually going to withhold my vote. I don't even know how the votes are going. But now that I actually, oh God, bot's running, oh man. But I think that I'm actually going to withhold my vote here maybe in the end. Because I just don't want to see it used on expedite proposal, upcoming. It's not even there right now. I just don't want to see it used on land. So I think that I am actually just going to go ahead and I'm actually going to abstain from my vote right now. I'm not going to vote against because it's Matt, and I don't want to vote against anything Matt posts, and I don't really care where the money comes from, but I do care what the money's going to. Maybe I should even vote against. Like, because if this were rephrased as have the DAO pay Cryptomancer's salary, period, not tying him to land, then for sure I'd be okay with that. I just don't want him tied to land. You know, I just don't think land's the priority. As such, I think I am going to vote against. I think I am going to vote against, not because I don't want Cryptomancer to be paid by the DAO, but because I don't want him to spend all his time on land. He's the best guy we got. He's totally, in my opinion, he's probably worth the money, but I don't want to see him working it on land. So in that case, all my blither blather has resulted in a no vote from me, simply because I don't want him to spend his time on land. And that's a deciding factor. Nothing to do with the money, nothing to do with DAO paying him versus Splinterlands paying him. I just don't want him to work on land. I want him to work on NPE. So there you go, guys. That's my little story here for you. Hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, be sure to like, share, subscribe, and let me know what you think in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you guys around Pretoria. Take care, my friends. Peace.